Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Several members of the community contacted me about this particular report. U.S. silver exports to India have exploded over the past 6 months. Now, let's take a look at this and see if we can make sense of it. It's very interesting indeed. This comes to us from SRS Rocco report, and it says, while silver investment demand in the West continues to remain weak, Indians are purchasing the white shiny metal hand over fist. In just the past 6 months, U.S. silver exports to India have exploded to record highs. Yes, there's no better way of putting it if we compare how little silver India imported from the United States during the previous 6 months period. Furthermore, according to the Metals Focus consultancy, they forecast even stronger India silver demand in 2019 due to rural Indians spending their cash handouts from the government to assist local economies ahead of the president's election. It's interesting. When Americans receive a government check in the mail, they use it to buy more throwaway crap they don't need. However, many Indians use it to purchase silver as an investment. Now, that is interesting because we know that gold is especially sought after in India. Indians actually, per capita, are the wealthiest nation in terms of gold holdings. But silver, this is quite an interesting turn of events here. Regardless, the chart below shows just how much silver the U.S. has exported to India over the past 6 months. So between March and August of 2018, U.S. silver shipments totaled a paltry 2 metric tons. Now compare that to the 517 metric tons from September to February 2019. What's going on there? My guess is it's probably something larger than or something more complex than what's going on there, but maybe not. It says even if we included U.S. silver exports to India for January and February 2018, it only amounts to 1.2 metric tons. So we can see from the data above, there's an extremely high demand for silver in India. Now, if we look at the total annual U.S. silver exports over the past several years, the change in Indian demand is even more striking. Very interesting indeed. Look at that. Total U.S. silver exports were 289 metric tons in 2016, fell to 157 metric tons in 2017. Then, due to the enormous increase in Indian silver demand, total U.S. silver exports surged to 604 metric tons in 2018. However, if we remove the Indian component in 2018, total U.S. silver exports would have only been 205 metric tons in 2018. So in the 517 metric tons of U.S. silver exports to India over the past 6 months was nearly double the total exports in 2016, and more than triple that of 2017. It is true that the huge increase in Indian silver demand hasn't impacted the price yet, but there the author says wait until the economy and financial system start to really come apart over the next few years. How much of this silver is being used for manufacturing in India? That's what I want to know. Is it all investment, or is it components that are being made in India that use silver? And where is it in China? What are the numbers for China? That'd be interesting to see. Today, as the markets continue to sell off due to the trade wars with Mexico, gold and silver are in the green. Even though gold is outperforming silver today, they're doing exactly as the author predicted during the significant market downturns. He believes this is only the beginning of an even greater dislocation between the overall markets and precious metals in the years ahead. And so this is from SRS Rocco, and the author of this particular article, it doesn't say here. So I'm going to give credit here to see who actually wrote this thing. But anyways, so yeah, it doesn't say who the author of the article is that I can see here. But nonetheless, it is quite fascinating, and they've done some research here. This has come from the USGS Silver Mineral Industry Surveys, and it does make you wonder. This is, I think, the telling chart here. For all of 2018, 604 metric tons, we're just halfway through I guess the next cycle. This is obviously India, September through February. And so we're still missing some numbers. We'll see if they're still accumulating silver, and we'll see how that totals out. My guess is probably they're taking advantage of these low prices. Maybe they see something we don't. We'll find out for sure. And how will this demand for silver affect the prices over the next couple of months here? We shall see. Now, make no mistake, even with this amount that has been imported into India, is it enough to really have an effect on price? Who knows? How much are they producing? I think a lot of that we may not really fully be able to gauge until the next report from the Silver Institute, or we get more numbers from the USGS. And I think the USGS is probably the best place to where we can get this. Is probably the most non-biased source that we can find for this type of thing. So I do trust that they're compiling these numbers correctly. We will see. And I also would be interested in knowing, which we really don't get from this report, as to how much of that silver demand is due to, quote, investment and or for manufacturing technological aspects. My guess is China is using much more silver than India in that regard, but still. And also looking at the culture of India. There is obviously 604 metric tons in 2018 is a pretty big deal. But for their culture, price may not be quite as big a factor unless they're getting the silver for either jewelry or that type of thing. Is an actual bar and round demand. How many stackers are out there in India? India has a representative democracy, if I'm not mistaken. There's not many viewers to this channel from India, but if you are in India or know of their culture and are a stacker, or a stacker from India preferably, post in the comments below. I'd be curious to see what your thoughts are about the pulse in India for silver stacking. We understand it for gold, but a lot of the gold is a cultural phenomenon, but also you can make no mistake, because of the cultural phenomenon and the use of gold in the culture, they understand the value of it too. So therefore the hedging and even in some cases investment, because obviously people that make the jewelry and the different forms of artisans and craftsmanship involved with gold, it's kind of an investment for those because they're making money on their work. So you need the gold and to be able to have in hand to be able to manufacture it for those purposes. But silver, this is quite interesting. And again, I've had literally a handful of folks contact me about this and wanted to see what my thoughts were on it. And my thoughts are really in the form of questions, more questions, because though this article is well written and I think it does say something, I believe that considering kind of some of these news sources, you have to kind of look and see what they're trying to tell us. And I think they're trying to tell us, hey, hold tight, maybe accumulate some silver because it's probably going to go up because of this. I'm not so quick to make that judgment yet, although it is encouraging to see. It goes back to the old adage, and that is to buy low and sell high. Well, silver's low right now. I think everybody, no matter what your view on silver is, in fact, for some people who are against it right now, they will surely confess that silver is priced low right now. And this is the time to buy if you can afford to do so. But as with any kind of asset out there, especially with those that are in the commodity range, we do know that silver will never go to zero, but at the same time, it could go lower than it is now. So keep that in mind. When you do buy silver, understand that it's a long-term hold, and understand that it does not pay dividends. Understand that it will not make you money. Understand that in the end, it will just preserve your wealth. It'll preserve the money that you have. It's like I take a dollar bill. When you have a dollar bill in your hand, got one right here. This dollar bill, by the way, it smells terrific. This dollar bill here, in 2 years, it's not going to be worth as much as it is today. Though this silver coin that I have in my hand right now, this silver coin, for all intents and purposes, with some exceptions, I have to use those caveats because one never really knows. It has a better, let's put it to you this way. This silver coin has a better chance of preserving its value than this dollar bill. So keep that in mind. And I think that's the thing that that should encourage silver stackers out there, in my view. But again, as I've been saying, especially over the past couple of years, I also encourage those to diversify into the ultimate safe haven, gold. So post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and an extra special thanks to those of you in the community who alert me to these things. I do try to do my own research, and I do a lot of my own research. And a lot of it, a lot of the community, it's amazing how many people in the community out there send me things that I've found. We're both kind of on the same page at the same time for a lot of this stuff. So I very much appreciate all the viewers out there. This is a wonderful community. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.